Welcome to this sixth episode of the Shoegazing Podcast with me, Jesper Ingevaldsson of the men's shoe blog Shoegazing.com. This time I met Maslow So from Hong Kong, the man behind the brand Mori of Shoemakers, who in a very interesting way tried to combine elements from bespoke shoes with factory-made ready-to-wear shoes. Mori have various bespoke shoemakers from around the world designing lasts and models, and then a factory in China producing hand-welted, lovely-looking shoes offered at a very competitive price. We sat down and talked about this project and about merging bespoke and factory-made. All right, Maslow So, welcome to the Shoegazing Podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Welcome to Sweden as well. Chilly winter.
It's quite cold out there. So I prefer to stay at the room.
Yeah, it's better inside.
Yeah, always.
So, how did you get into menswear and shoes? Where did your interest start?
I think I get my interest start when I was year 1, year 2 in my university. I used to be quite into the work boots, so I got a lot of Viber. I got a lot of something like Red Wings or something like. Anyway, so
yeah,
those
workwear
Americano stuff. But I was quite skinny and those styles doesn't match me that much. And once I tried some formal shoes in tassels in Hong Kong, and I kind of like, it looks very good looking at me or on me. So I started to getting proper men's shoes. So always because of the look at the very beginning. And I still remember my first pair of shoes. Proper men's shoes is the Cocker & Jones hand grade Weymouth. It's a whole cut.
With medallion, is it?
With medallion. It's a whole cut Oxford with a medallion on toe, and yeah, it's still in my wardrobe.
Yeah.
And after that, at that moment, I still didn't get into like tailoring thing.
So shoes was your thing at the beginning. Yeah.
Always shoes first, but it's like I was looking for some ready-to-wear jacket and things to match my shoes, because it looks like you can't wear a very good-looking shoes with t-shirt and jeans, right? So I tried to find some ready-to-wear, but eventually, unfortunately, I can't find any because I was quite small. I have a like 32 inches chest before, not now. And something like 24-25 inches waist. It is kind of like lady size, impossible to find any like ready-to-wear menswear in the market. So my friend introduced to me a tailor, a local tailor in Hong Kong. That's how I start to make my garments.
Yeah.
So shoe first, and I tried to buy some garments to match my shoes.
Yeah.
And then slowly I build up my interest in sartorial thing, menswear thing. So slowly.
Yeah. And you were one of the co-founders of the Prologue.
Yes.
Previously, was that your first venture into the business?
Actually, I had a shoe store with a friend before, but it closed down pretty shortly, like 1-2 years after. So it's fine to don't mention it.
Okay.
And
but it was a shoe store.
Yeah, it was a shoe store.
What did you sell?
I sell Stefano Bama. I sell Anthony Caffley, Josh Carey, and Jay Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. What was the name of?
Patina.
Yeah. Exactly.
I was the co-founder. But after that, I joined the Prologue because at the moment, Chris and Jerry was my customer, and we met online because like a few years before it's still pretty hot on style forum like Hong Kong discuss something like this. We have a lot of thread to talk about menswear because that was just kind of like a rising thing at the moment. So I met them online, and we have something like chat group thing. Like we have a pretty big group with 19, 20 people, and sometimes we go eat together, we go to the buffet together to do a little gathering and sharing. It's like, oh, where should we get our shoes? Where should we get our garment? And at the moment, because I have written some blog things, but on the, not read a blog, but I read some article on the forums. I wrote some articles. So people think I know shoes. So they sometimes when they getting ready to wear, before they getting ready to wear, they will ask me, okay, which is better, and I don't mind to share because even I'm selling shoes, but I don't mind to ask them to buy. Okay, your budget, maybe only is your only choice, right? So I met them online, and we getting more close after some conversation. And sometimes they come here to polish their shoes, because I also offer a polishing service, and I teach people how to do polishing. Yeah, that's how I met them. And at the moment they were trying to start a new brand, because the middle price range market in Hong Kong at that moment with Italian influence garment is kind of empty. So they try to, with some friends, actually we got pretty many of partners, but I can't tell too much. But we got kind of like a group of people to start up a shop. And operational partner, I'm one of the operational partner, and they need a shoe guy, because they tend to want to have I won't say it's an armory thing, but they try to build up a kind of like not entry level but middle level menswear buyer shop at the very beginning. Not like this. Now it's more like a tailoring shop. But at the very beginning, they have ties, they have shoes, they have many things. So. And
you were also part of bringing quite a few bespoke shoemakers for trunk shows in Hong Kong.
Yes. Yeah. I introduced those bespoke shoemakers to them, and like Watanabe-san, we go together. And
Bolero shoemakers.
It's Bolero shoemaker and Clematis. I kind of like I would say I'm the shoe guy in the store. So for the shoe polishing, how customers should fit the shoes, how they polish the shoes, how they maintain the shoes, I do this thing.
And then you went on to start Il Negozio. Which is sort of a men's haberdasher and a tailor, and then Mori of Shoemakers, which we will focus on today. So how did this project start?
You mean Il Negozio or
both, so to speak, and how they are combined?
At the very beginning, actually, after I left Pro, because we have kind of different thinking, so I left. And at the moment, because I'm not very wealthy, but I still got few apartments to rent out. I have a pretty stable income, so I was kind of thinking to retire and just
only
focus on
polish your own shoes.
And only focusing on something I like. So, but my friend, which is one of my, now we only have one investor in the store. He's my friend, and he said he really wants to set up a place in Hong Kong, not a moneymaker, but a place because he's rich, and it was like a place for them to sharing, chatting, and sometimes because he likes to wearing tailoring stuff, but when people asked him where should they go to make their garment, he always kind of like, it's not, I don't know, should I use the word hesitate, because like when he introduced to them, and tailoring is kind of like you need some time to communicate, and you need to do a lot of conversation with the tailor.
You're not done in 15 minutes.
You don't just pay the money and ask them to get the things done. And it's not automatically done. You have to do a lot of input, a lot of conversation to get a very like with your character, with your own aesthetic sense, and also with a perfect fit. So, but most of his friend is rich Chinese businessmen. So they usually they pay and they want it now. So he wants to educate his friends a little bit before introducing them to some very good tailor, and he tend to like, then why don't I set up my own place so we can educate them, we can satisfy them, and we can share and make everyone's happy in the same place. And but he doesn't have the relationship inside the industry. So kind of like once he saw I left, and he asked me, okay, can you help me to start up the project? And he will invest in the store, and I help him to manage all the things. So that's how we start. And Louis is my very, very old friend. So
the tailor of
yeah. So and at the moment it's very just right, because before he was working in another tailor house in Taiwan, but at the time he was kind of like flexible at that moment.
So how with the Mori of Shoemakers, how did that came to be from the beginning?
It's actually a very random thing.
Yeah,
because I was having a dinner with some of my shoemaker friends, and most of them complaining one thing to me is like the economy is kind of like going down in these few years. And not this few, but this 1-2 years. The trade war, the everything, the protests, the many things, and less customer, like not that stable, not that for bespoke. Bespoke is quite expensive. Like generally, good bespoke costs like 3,000 euros, more or less.
Something that even rich people sort of when economy is going down, one of the first thing that you stop doing is ordering really expensive, in a quotation mark, unnecessary stuff like bespoke shoes.
Because you have a lot of shoes you can wear for many years. You have it before.
It's one of the first things that you cut.
We always say you can wear your shoes for life. Yes, it can be wear for life. So when the economy goes down, it immediately becomes a unnecessary thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So at that moment, I was thinking about what can I, because I was like quite free, like nothing to do. So I was thinking like, okay, what should I? Maybe I should do something to help. But just ordering, because if I ordering all of them, I would be like my wallet will be dry out immediately. So eventually, I because also my shoe factory friends, like, they're complaining like too many copycats in the world, and like it's really difficult to make something very outstanding looking without a last maker, without a kind of like designer, but also without, they need to take the risk for other peoples to copy these things. They want to make something very, like, they asked for my opinion because I was having a kind of like a little Twitter thing in China, that's the Weibo, and they asked for my opinion, and it's kind of like, it's very, just everything happening just right at that time. And I was thinking like that, like, maybe we can do a collaboration like with the bespoke shoemakers and the ready-to-wear factory, and see what we can make together to promote the culture a little bit, to give both of them a little bit more benefit, but not competing with each other. Yes. And and slowly, because one of my close friends is Maslow So. He's a one of the top tier bespoke shoemaker in Asia, and should be the only real bespoke shoemaker in Hong Kong, or maybe one more Gao War shoemaker. But he's the top in Hong Kong. So I talked to him, and he was kind of interested in this. And I also have a factory friend who's kind of like he wants to try out some new thing. And
it's a mainland China.
Yeah, it's
factory.
a mainland China factory, and it's kind of like immediately a triangle has been like formed, and we started to work in some things. Yes, together. Yeah. So
in what way would you say that you are combining bespoke shoemaking and factory-made shoes with Mori?
I think it's because we got two collection. One is for the permanent collection, is designed by Maslow with his lance and with his pattern, and he is like teaching the factory to do the finishing right, how to. Because there's so many different elements on finishing to get in different kind of feeling. Different finishing can have like make the shoe chunky, make the shoe manly, or make the shoes feminine or delicate, or something like for Regency style, something like for American style. Anyway, it's all about finishing actually. The construction is another thing, but mostly finishing. So. Getting the finishing right is really important, which is most of the factory ignored it. So Masaru-san is like teaching them how to do the finishing right, how to do the things in the right part, and me also involved in this part because I have quite a lot of like, including the coming pairs, about 15 pairs of bespoke shoemaking, of bespoke shoes. So I know what makes the shoes look bespoke, and I really knows that what I like to make. What makes the shoes beautiful in my eyes.
Yeah.
So we are like me and Masaru-san telling them how to do finishing right, and they focus on the construction. If they really can't do that kind of finishing, maybe like the some of the shaping, sanding, and the ironing and the waxing thing is rather more common in bespoke shoemaking. But they don't want to do spending too much time on single one pair of shoes. Then I will handle this for them. So it's kind of like combining the things, but it's still very ready to wear because it's like, if only this part, I would say this is just a very pretty high-end bespoke alike finishing shoes, still ready to wear. But what makes the things combining bespoke shoemaking and ready to wear is our another collection, because now we have already 5-6 shoemakers committed to work with us, and we call this a limited edition. We name it a tasting menu collection. So basically the rules is we will charge a bit more for the tasting menu collection, and we'll share a commission to the shoemaker who collaborating with. So they will tell us how to do finishing, they will design the pattern, they will design the lots. So they will design 2 lots, one round and one square, and then each lot with 3 patterns. And every single style, we will limit it in only 1 year available, and only 100 pairs are available. So in total 600 pairs. And we will share the commission. Every pair we sell, we will share the commission to the shoemaker, and they can also take an order in their own store. So to me, like, this is a very time limited thing. It's firstly, it's kind of like a gimmick, but also because many people doesn't really understand, like, okay, they maybe they heard about Italian shoemaking, they heard about British shoemaking, they heard about Japanese shoemaking, but they don't really know what's the difference about craftsmanship, about finishing, about style. They don't know. And even like only same region, like in Milano or in Firenze or in just same place, maybe let's say Florence. They have Roberto Ugolini, they have even like Hidetaka Fukaya is, maybe he don't want to mention, but he is one of the students from Roberto. They looks totally different. So even like I don't really like to classify style by the area, but I tend to classify them by house. So when more and more people, for example, this year is one shoemaker, the next year another one, and slowly with the same factory but different finishing, same construction, same factories but different knots, different finishing, different style, they can see slowly, like one by one, they can see difference between each shoemakers, then it will help to guide them. Like if you like this taste, like this style, because like maybe a shoemaker he has a very small fit of his own, then he will. I mean, it's very makes sense. It's like he will be more able to handling a small fit because like all the samples usually is made by his own loss. So it's like
and also introducing
different
the shoemakers to a wider audience.
Yeah, so if
you
you
make them accessible, even if it's not their full bespoke versions, it's still something that is
at least you can taste
quite close. Yeah.
At least you can taste the style.
Yeah, and I mean, if we talk about it construction-wise, I'm bringing forward a sample here. If we look at it construction-wise, it's quite impressive shoes. When you look at them on people's feet, they really look like bespoke shoes.
As long as it's fit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
but it's the last, like you say, you use the base last of the bespoke shoemakers, which every bespoke shoemaker in the world has their own base last that they start working from.
They have the idea at least.
Yeah, exactly, and they have the proportions that are with the arc support and all that that you find in bespoke. And since they're hand welted, you can make them quite differently from machine-made shoes.
So basically the shoes is, I would say, is kind of like 95% handmade, and you have not even the hand welted, you also have it in a hand sewn ways.
And after very narrow and fiddle back and tightly cut ways.
So it's kind of like about proportion, and after I get the shoes from the factory, I still need to trim it a little bit and to sand it, to shape it, and also like iron it with the wax. So and this is what you see in the stuff. Of course, it's not totally 100% the same with the bespoke shoemaker.
Because what you do with machine is the sole stitch in the front area, so to speak.
The front 180 degree.
Yeah.
So, but like you can see it, you can see its style, and if you really like it, I will announce the name of the shoemakers. I will tell you guys the price of its original bespoke. And if you like it, if you want to get a full version, the real original taste by that guy, then you should go for him. Like it's kind of like we share commission to increase a little bit of extra income for those independent shoemaker, but also help them to promote a little bit. And I would say this is like just like what I mentioned online before, like it's more like a culture thing, but more than a money maker. And like why we set it limited in time is because we want to like not only focus on 1-2 friends of me, but also giving more chance to other not that famous but talented shoemaker to get their shoes being shown to more people.
And the price is quite accessible. It's not at 600 euros, something like that. Yeah.
It's kind of like the starting price, and you can have quite a lot of variation for the for made to order. We can, of course, we have quite a lot of different style for ready to wear, but also we can be made to order and made to measure. And
what impressed me the most was the way that you do the stiffener, which is really like on a bespoke shoe with a leather stiffener going quite extended into the arc and also on the outside.
Because I have a pretty high arch, and usually what bespoke shoes helps me the most is like it always support my arch right. But usually for ready to wear, they do it underneath the insole, and which makes me sometimes a little bit painful. But with the right angle and the right volume of right amount of support of the arch, which makes me still feel not that tired after a long walk. So I think it's quite important for walking. I mean, especially for people who walk a lot. We try to get those elements we think is important in bespoke, get it right into the ready-to-wear shoes. We're trying to do that, but mostly.
What was the what's been the main challenges setting up Mori of Shoemakers?
First thing is communication, because like the factory have their own system. It's pretty difficult to ask them to change, and I mean at the moment I'm speaking to you, we still got some problem to solve. So let's say the factory, they kind of like refused to do some of the finishing part, like after I get back the shoes, I still need to, like, for example, the heel, I need to straighten it more close to the upper. I need to sand it to make it more smooth, because usually, I don't know, is it too technical, but like usually the factory only sanding the shoes, like maximally 800, the 800 sandpaper.
Yeah,
that's
exactly,
the maximum. But after that, usually in bespoke, they use the glass to shape it, and they use the different sandpaper. They use it until like 1,500 to 2,000, 3,000 to make sure the edges is right, smooth, and good enough before we wax it, we iron it. It's really, really important to make it clean and neat before.
So that you do yourself today?
Yeah, that's why I produce it quite slowly.
Yeah,
it's very, very, very slow. Like at the moment we started a test run for already 3 months already. 3-4 months already, and I only produced like 80 pairs. So let's say it's kind of like more or less 1 month, 30 pairs is the maximum I can do. I hope someday I can find a person to help me do it in Hong Kong.
So that's been the main challenge, is to find people to get the product the way you want.
To get the product on point is very difficult. Like, and another problem is all of us are kind of busy or lazy. Like Maslow-san have a lot of trunk show, and he needs some time to stay with his family. And the factory itself has their own OEM products they need to produce. And myself, I got in Negozio and some of my other business to do. So, like, it's pretty hard to manage all the things on time and get them right together. But we are catching up. Seems everything is kind of on track at the moment, and as long as we can find someone, maybe 3-4 people to get the finishing done, and I think everything will be all right. Cool. Now it's good. And
you mentioned that you already have plans for one shoemaker each year. But if you look a bit further into the future, where do you see the brand in a few years' time?
I don't know, man. It's all because I have mentioned that this thing is a pretty random idea, and luckily it's possible to be making it come true. And all we are doing is like, we talk to the bespoke shoemaker, and we having a meeting together, and we do something cool with it. Like, we think this is cool, we think this is possible, and okay, cool, we go for it. And we didn't do too much prediction like a big company about our next step, but I hope people will like what we're doing. Like I think the tasting menu collection would be a pretty cool idea. I mean, I never see something in the market at the moment. And maybe in the short future because we don't want to make it like a very ourselves selling to customer directly, because sometimes it's kind of like too many things to handle.
You want to have retailers.
We want to focus on making. So we are now talking to some people, and we hope in the future we can have a few more partners, few more friends to can do it with us in US, in Europe, in UK, or even in Japan. We don't know, but we're talking, and we will see how it's going. Because if there's more people can, as I mentioned, it's a culture promoting thing. I want more people to see the thing. Like, maybe the amount of shoes is not that much.
Yeah.
It doesn't make that much money, but I want more people to see the display, to see the style of different shoemakers. I want people to start realizing, okay, maybe something seems pretty simple, like a hole cut shoes, but there's a huge variation of something seems pretty simple. So I hope one day people, more and more people can focus on these and they realize this thing. Yeah.
And which other shoe brands out there would you say are good at combining at least elements from bespoke and factory-made shoes?
I'm not sure because I'm not sure is it good for me to comment on other shoe brand, but I would say because I have seen some independent shoemaker, they trying to make their own ready-to-wear brand, and I feels like Japanese Japanese shoemakers doing it in a pretty right way. I would say right way, one of them is I think Johan Fukuda, because he's also selling in my friend's place, like Jonathan in Singapore. They're also selling the Johan Fukuda ready-to-wear, and my friend Eric in Sweden also selling them in made-to-order form. So also in the Armory, so quite a lot of places you can find it. So yeah, it's cool for people to see. Like in person, I have seen the stuff once. Yeah, the works, like the outsole was machine made though, but it's pretty clean and neat machine work, and it's hand melted, and with the last of Johan Fukuda-san's own self. Not sure about the fit, but definitely worth to take a look. Yes.
And today, you could say that we see more attempts in various ways to combine elements than from bespoke and factory-made production. Do you think we will see more of this in the future?
Oh, it really depends on you guys, man. Like, I see a lot of bloggers in the recent year, but honestly, some of them are focusing on style, and you can see Simon Crompton of Permanent Style, and you can see dye workwear, and maybe a lot of them, and but I see another trend is some bloggers focusing on technical things, like for shoes, like Shoegazing blog, I think, is one of the best blog in the world. I mean, I have never seen someone like some bloggers, any bloggers, know shoes that deep and that wide. I mean, not only the depth but also the width.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate what you're doing, and if there is more and more bloggers and medias, not only focusing on the story and the historic thing, but also take a look on the details, take a look on the technical things, on the materials, on the qualities, then more and more people will be educated. And there's so many buy shop and shoe shop and menswear shop all over the world in these few years. It's pretty easy for people to do a comparison and go there and take a closer look to see what's the difference between one and another. So if people learn more people willing to share, willing to educate people, and more people interested in this thing, I see. I mean, it's all about the demand and supply, actually. So if more people demanding good quality stuff, more handmade details, more hand finished design, more people are asking for that, then there must be some suppliers to do that. So I think it will be. I mean, now the market is still kind of niche at the moment, but I think there will be more and more people getting into it.
Yeah. Cool. All right, Maslow So of Mori of Shoemakers.
Yes.
Thank you very much for being part of the Shoegazing podcast.
No problem, man. Thank you so much for having me. I'm sorry for my bad English.
No worries.
Really
Cheers.
sorry about that.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Shoegazing podcast. For much more on classic shoes, visit shoegazing.com. And to those of you who want to support shoegazing and make it possible for me to continue to produce high-level content, there is a Patreon page where you can contribute with anything from $3 a month. Both big and small contributions are much appreciated. See shoegazing.com for more info on this. The Shoegazing podcast will be back with a new episode in a short while, that time with the legendary French bespoke shoemaker Christophe Corthay, talking about shoes and art. So hear you again soon.